Welcome to the Soulcery Podcast, your sacred space to delve into spiritual tools, topics, and practices that will illuminate your path of soul remembering and healing. I'm your host, Ligia Costa, a soul guide, alchemist, soul writing coach, and the creator of the Trust Pathway. I'm deeply grateful to have you here with me. Together, we'll embark on a profound exploration of self-discovery and healing, unlocking the secrets that lie within. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Soulcery Podcast. I'm Ligia, and today I want to talk about something we have all faced. Those moments when life feels like it's asking too much of us. When we are exhausted, stretched thin, and wondering, how much more can I take? Maybe you are in one of those seasons right now. Maybe you feel like you've hit your limit. And if that's where you are, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Because today, we are going to explore resilience, not as something hard and something like society told us is the truth, like pushing hard, carry on, getting over it, but as something soft, something fluid, something that adapts and moves with us. And I want to show you that resilience isn't just about pushing through. It's also about how we hold ourselves in the process. How we meet ourselves in the moments when we feel like we have nothing left to give. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed, if life has been testing you lately, stay with me. Let's find the strength beneath the surface together. We all had those times, right? The times where challenge after challenge after challenge comes, and just when we think we are catching our breath, another wave hits, right? It's in those moments that we start believing that we can't take it anymore. We think that we have reached our limit and that we have nothing left to give. But I want you to think about something. I would like to invite you to look back on your life, to think about the hardest moments you have faced. And now, in this present moment, notice how you survived them. Even the ones that felt impossible, even the ones where you thought you wouldn't make it, you did. You made it through. You survived. And maybe it wasn't graceful, maybe you fell apart, maybe you struggled, but you made it through. And that tells us something. That tells us that we are stronger than we realize. That there is more within us than we think. However, we are in the middle of it, right? When we are drowning in exhaustion or grief or stress, it's so hard to see that strength. And you feel like it's gone. And that's why today I want to help you find it again. So I think we have all been sold this idea that resilience means being tough, right? Society, and if you see like movies and cartoons and, all of these things, the hero story always tell us that we need to be tough, that we need to push through no matter what, and that we should never show weakness and we should never slow down. But that is not real resilience. Because true resilience is adaptability. It's the ability to move through life challenges in a way that doesn't break you. And sometimes that means resting. Sometimes that means asking for help. Other times it means surrendering to the moment instead of forcing your way through it. But in all these times, resilience isn't something you either have or you don't have. It's something that you build. And we build it in small ways every day. to how we respond to stress, through how we talk to ourselves, through the way we allow ourselves to feel what we need to feel. So if you are struggling right now, I want you to know that you are resilient. Even if you don't feel it, even if you feel tired, even if you need a break, even if you don't believe it. Because resilience is not about never failing. It's all about how you rise. So let's talk now about how we build resilience in a way that feels natural and gentle and also sustainable in our lives. So our minds, as you know, are very powerful. The way we talk to ourselves shapes how we experience life. So if we tell ourselves all the time, I can't do this, I have nothing left, our brain believes it. So it's really important to be conscious about the words that we use. So instead of saying, I can't do this, let's try and say, this is really hard, but I've survived hard things before. And instead of saying everything is falling apart, trying to say things like, things are uncertain right now, but I'm adaptable and I'm resourceful. And this is not about pretending that everything is fine when obviously they are not. It's all about reminding ourselves that we are bigger than this moment, right? And sometimes I forget that. Sometimes things feel so overwhelming that it feels that's a whole story that is going to be like this for the rest of our lives. We forget it's just a moment. And yeah, being conscious about the words that we say, especially to ourselves, is really important. And with any healing work, it's really important to practice compassion, because pushing through isn't about just forcing ourselves. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is meet ourselves with love, with understanding, with compassion. When we feel overwhelmed, when we are exhausted and we feel stretched thin beyond our limits, if instead of resisting that feeling, we allow it to happen, we allow it to move through us, we can actually honor what we need and we stop forcing things to happen. Because true resilience is knowing when to pause, when to soften, when to offer ourselves the warmth of unconditional love. So if we, for instance, imagine, right, a child who has fallen, was, running, and you told the child, don't run, you'll hurt yourself, like we all parents do, and the child just falls and scrapes their knees, right? And they have their heart racing and they start crying. What do they need in that moment? Do they need someone to just tell them to get up and keep going and stop crying? Or they need comfort, right? They will need to be comforted. They will need to be held, to be reassured that they are safe and that will pass, that the pain will pass. And we are no different. Remember, deep within, no matter how old we are, we all have a child inside that needs love and attention and compassion. So when we are at our limit, sometimes the best thing that we can do is just acknowledge it. Just say it to ourselves. I see you. I see how hard this is, and I'm here for you. So this act of self-compassion doesn't make us weaker. It actually makes us stronger, because our resistance, our exhaustion, our self-doubt can soften in the presence of love. And when it does, we can find a reservoir of strength, of courage, of unshakable spirit, because it becomes accessible to us again. When we stop forcing it, when we stop pushing through, and we just allow it to move through us, it will become accessible to us again. So always remember to acknowledge the struggle, to recognize that you're not alone, that this is part of the human experience and other people felt it too, and offer yourself kindness and compassion. As always, remember that when we are overwhelmed, our bodies go into survival mode. We go into fight, flight, or freeze. And so it's really important to create a sense of safety in our bodies in order to regulate our nervous system. And there are ways that we can do that are really easy, like deep breathing. And one exercise I like to use with myself and my clients is inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6. So always remember the 4-4-6 rule. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. Another way you can do this is by grounding. So this is a very good exercise that I use with, again, myself and my clients when we are very overwhelmed. For instance, if I'm in the middle of a panic attack and I'm not driving, I try to do this one, which is naming 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can touch, 3 things that I can hear, 2 that I can smell, 1 that I can taste. So it's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5 things that you can see, 4 that you can touch, 3 that you can hear, 2 that you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. And what this does is this distracts your brain from the situation that is overwhelming you. And because it's distracted and focusing on other things that are not worrying, it actually helps you to ground and to calm your nervous system. And another one is just movement by shaking the hands, stretching, taking a slow walk. Another one is yawning, crying. It's another very good one for regulating the nervous system. So all of these practices sends a signal to our bodies that we are safe, that we are okay, and that we can handle this. So when life feels impossible, we tend to think that we have hit a dead end. But below the surface, there is depth, right? There is movement. So if you imagine icy lake, a frozen lake, the surface is frozen. You actually have to be very careful walking on frozen ice. Why? Because if it breaks, you can actually fall into the frozen water of the lake and, worst case scenario, die from hypothermia. And that is because beneath the ice, there is movement, there is water there that's alive and flowing. And that is the same thing with our resilience to struggles, to moments of pain and hurt and challenges. On the surface, it seems that nothing is moving, that we are stuck, that we have to be very careful with which step we take. And we feel like there's nothing that we can do, that we have no strength, that we have no skills really to do that. But beneath it, beneath that ice, just like the moving and flowing water, our resilience is there. Our strength is there. It's just dormant, but it's there. So the next time that you find yourself saying that I can't do this, just take a moment. Okay? Just pause and think that maybe that thought that you can't do whatever that you feel like you have to do isn't the end of your strength, but a doorway. What if just beyond that, there is more within that you have ever realized? Because there is. We see like on National Geographic and, programs like this, because I've never been to like Iceland or the Arctics or, those sort of countries where everything is snowed in and icy. But we see, these people or maybe fishermen on these frozen lakes, and they use a tool. I don't know what is the name of the tool, to open a hole, right? A small hole onto the ice so they can fish. Because again, there is life beneath that ice. There is fish moving in that flowing water underneath the ice. So just because on the surface you see that everything is still and stuck and not moving and frozen, it doesn't mean there isn't life beneath. Same with you. When you are in that fight, flight, or freeze, you will feel that you are the ice. And you will feel that that's all that is. And there is nothing you can do. You can't move, you can't breathe, you can't do anything. But that doesn't mean beneath that or within, there isn't a heart beating. Because as long as your heart is beating, there is life there. And beneath that freeze response, the survival response that you're going through, there is strength. And you are stronger than you think you are. And if you have any doubts, I invite you now to place a hand over your heart and feel the warmth of your own touch. Feel the beat of your heart kissing your hand. Remind yourself, I'm allowed to struggle. I'm allowed to rest. I am capable of rising again. As long as I live, there is hope, and I can do this. Okay? Before I love you and leave you, I'll pull a card from my Trust Journaling deck. And the card that I pulled is from the Soul Suite, and the Soul Inquiry is, how can I surrender when I don't know what will happen? How can I surrender when I don't know what will happen? And the affirmation is, I trust the timing of my journey. Again, a soul inquiry that was made for this episode. I kid you not. I don't plan these soul inquiries. I pull the cards after each episode, after each conversation. So basically, I pull the cards from the energy of the conversation. And that's why I would say 90% of the cards that I pull after each episode, they are a reflection of the conversation. They are just on point. And this one is no different. We are talking about resting and trusting and reflecting when things are challenging. So how can you surrender to those challenges, even when you don't know what will happen? Especially when you feel like you have nothing else to give and you don't know how the situation is going to pan out. How can you surrender? And then trust the timing of your journey. Just trust it. Trust that resilience that is within you, always. I hope this episode was helpful, insightful, inspiring, and as always, take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself and trust in the depth of your own soul. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Soulcery Podcast and for holding space for this conversation. It is truly magical to be able to walk with you on this journey of soul healing and inner transformation. If you resonated with this episode and found it valuable, I would be grateful if you could leave a review on iTunes. Your feedback helps me reach more souls searching for guidance and healing. For more guidance and soul wisdom to support soul awakening women through the journey of alchemy, please visit my website www.ligiacosta.co.uk. Love and healing to all. See you on the next one.